I don't know whether you have been following our study or if this is new to you, but we have called this our Summer of No Excuses. We have been looking at Moses' 5 excuses in Exodus chapters 3 and 4, and we've been looking at our own responses to God, learning how to avoid making excuses. Each week we have addressed a different excuse in the Sunday evening message and in the videos shared each day. Week 1, who am I? Week 2 was, who is God? Week 3, can I trust God? Week 4, I'm just not good enough. This is week 5. And Moses really wasn't an excuse. He told God, basically, you should send someone else. God repeatedly told Moses that he was the guy God wanted to use, and he repeatedly promised to be with Moses and help him and deliver the Hebrews through him. But Moses gave several excuses instead of obeying. So finally, Moses could not come up with another excuse, yet he was still not willing to do what God asked him to do. So he told God to find someone else. He clearly understood the Lord, but he refused to obey. And, sadly, Moses is not alone in that. Remember the prophet Jonah? The book of Jonah shares the history of when God told Jonah to go preach in Nineveh and warn the people there about God's judgment for their sins. Jonah refused to obey God and fled in the opposite direction. While the ship was heading away from Nineveh, God brought a fierce storm. Jonah ended up in the sea and then in the belly of what the Bible calls a great fish. Some suggest it was a whale and others a great sea monster. Some even suggest this is merely a myth. But in the New Testament, Jesus cited Jonah as a living person who endured exactly what the Word of God said. So ask yourself, when have you told God no? You see, we love to rate sin from harmless to horrific, but God does not have the same grading system. God has commanded us to avoid lust and to not look on the nakedness of a man or woman. Yet many Christians admit to frequently viewing pornography. They know what God says, but they have refused to obey. Further, God does not believe in little white lies. He put a lying tongue and a false witness who speaks lies on his hate list of sins which he despises. Proverbs 6, verses 16 through 19. God recognizes lies and truth. There's no gray area for little white lies. Question: where are you disobeying God? Where are you falling short of his high and holy standard? Now, this is not a quick question with a snappy answer. This is time for you to probe deeply into your heart and ask God to show you what needs to change. Action step. Describe what you are going to do about it. How will you deal with the sin in your heart, change your thinking, and redirect your life back to the path of obedience? In a paraphrase of Psalm 139, David concludes with these thoughts. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you, and lead me along the path of everlasting life. You see, you need to learn to love the Lord more than you love the feeling you get from pleasurable sin, or to get help if you are stuck in a pattern of sin. Change your thoughts, change your life. Say yes to God today.